Hi guys, Josh Lloyd here for your first look at DraftKings for the NBA for Wednesday. While you're here, why don't you hit the bell down below, hit subscribe, give it a thumbs up, and leave your comment. And then let's get into the games. The first game we take a look at, the Toronto Raptors and the Washington Wizards. No spread or total out for this one. Russell Westbrook will return, while there is a chance that OG Anunoby is back for the Raptors, which could make things interesting in terms of Norman Powell and his value. Also, Kyle Lowry is likely to play after coming out early in the last game after playing just the 8 minutes. The Wizards changed up their starting lineup last game. They started Davis Bertans over Denny Avdia. Whether they do that now with Westbrook back remains to be seen. I imagine they will, but that's still a question mark for us. Alex Lenz at 4,400. Had some foul trouble last game, but still put up 26 DraftKings points. I like him quite a bit here in this matchup, while Westbrook himself at 8,400. Obviously not at peak Westbrook levels, but still averaging 45 over the last 5. I probably wouldn't want to use him. Boucher's at 5,900. The matchup for Boucher here is pretty good. Now, there's always risk in using him, but he's back to averaging 38 over the last 3 games. And at sub 6,000, he's got to be in play. Beal at 9,300's all right, but I wouldn't say it's the greatest. And I don't like that they've bumped Fred VanVleet all the way to 8,600. Now, rightfully so, because he's averaging 47 points over the last 5. I just think on a game-by-game basis, he's not particularly consistent, and that takes that value away. While Siakam over 8,000 always gives me some scares, but he is averaging 52 over the last 3. He's playing at a high level, and I would probably prefer Siakam than VanVleet at this point. Norm Powell at 68, well, that would only be of use to me if Anunoby is out, and even then it's probably too high. While Hachimura had 33 points last game in 36 minutes, he's at 5,500. I don't feel particularly comfortable in using him in lineups. He's just not consistent or high upside enough for me. Next up, the Atlanta Hawks, the Dallas Mavericks. That's the next game on the slate for us. We've got the Mavericks here favored by 4. And we've also got the total as a big one, 233.5. We know DeAndre Hunter and Bogdan Bogdanovic are out for the Hawks. Doncic is at 10,800. Pretty good price for Luka, who has been putting up solid numbers, averaging just 52 over the last 3, which is all right. And it's not quite where you want it to be, but I do like him in this matchup. Porzingis is at 8,600. He had a really big game, but it was against the Timberwolves. Not to say that the Hawks defense is that much better, but 8,600 for Kristaps, averaging 46 over the last 5. I'm totally behind using him. While Capella at 86, I'd much rather use Porzingis at 86 than Capella there. 99 for Trae Young. This dude is giving us 50 a night at the moment, averaging 50.2 over the last 3, 52 over the last 5. No reason for me to expect less than 50 here. So I think he is an option for us. Johnny Collins at 75. I think the absence of Hunter does help him, so I think he's in play. While Herter at 56 also looks like a really good option. He is going to get pumped full of minutes in this matchup. Next up, we go to the Clippers. They are taking on the Minnesota Timberwolves in Minnesota. Paul George will not play. Karl Anthony Towns likely won't play, while D'Angelo Russell is questionable, and his starting point guard opposite number, Patrick Beverley, is also questionable after missing the last week or so. Russell's at 6,800 because he's been horrible. I would find it very, very difficult to put Russell into a lineup with a questionable tag and his level of play. I wouldn't feel as uncomfortable as using Malik Beasley. Now, it is a tough matchup against the Clippers, but this dude is just putting up big numbers. And without Towns, he's giving us huge numbers. He's their best player at the moment. I think he's worth looking at. Kawhi's at 94. I think that's probably an okay spot. Now, he hasn't quite been at the level we need him to be, and there's probably other ways to spend 9,000, but I don't dislike it. While Anthony Edwards, with the absence of Towns and the potential absence of Russell, I think makes quite a bit of sense. I think we have to pay some attention to Zubats as well. Playing at a high level, 25 minutes over the last 3, 33 DraftKings points over the last 3. No reason to think that he can't be at least like a 25 fantasy point guy, but there is risk associated with it and how the minutes go. But look, 33, 23, 43 in the last 3 games. Of course, there was a 5-point game in there, which is pretty rough. I wouldn't say that he is the greatest option there, but there's at least some value, while Lou Williams at 5,500 has stepped up of late, averaging 33 over the last 3, and there is some GPP value in looking at Lou Williams here, given the absence of Paul George. And if he gets on a roll and Ty Lue gives him more minutes, then maybe we could get something out of it. Let's have a look at the next one. It is the Hornets and the Grizzlies. The Grizzlies 4-point favorites. The total is 226. No Melton, no Jaren Jackson, no Brandon Clark, no Justice Winslow. So Kyle Anderson at 5,600. Not a great tournament play, but a rock-solid cash guy to get 28 to 30 points. While Ja Morant at 73 continues to underperform, but I liked what I saw more from him last game. But at 7,300, I think he has to be in play. They've also bumped Jonas Valanciunas all the way up to 7,400. That's because he dropped 61 on the Raptors. Now, will he do that against the Hornets? No reason to say that he can't get somewhat close. I think that 40 points is an expectation for Valanciunas, so I do like him here. I also expect Desmond Bane to get another starting opportunity. He's at 4,100. He dropped 21 in his first start. He can be better than that, and with Melton out, it does help, but I wouldn't be putting a huge amount on it. Gordon Hayward at 77. I love the value in Gordon Hayward there. And LaMelo Ball is all the way up at 8,500. Now, Devontae Graham is out again. Melo's giving us almost 50 points a game over the last 3. That is a high price, though, for LaMelo Ball, but there's no reason for me to think that he can't push towards 50 again. So I think he's an option. Malik Monk is only a tournament guy, while Miles Bridges at 57 feels the opposite. Feels like he's a bit of a solid enough floor player. But even then, it has come on the back of some pretty big rebound games of late, and I'm not convinced that that's going to stick. Back-to-back here for the Brooklyn Nets. They take on, or they host the Indiana Pacers. There will be no Kevin Durant, of course. Kyrie Irving, we assume, will play, but I don't know that for sure. I do like James Harden, though. 10,400 for Harden is a really good price. The matchup here, I think, works pretty well in his favor. DeAndre Jordan's at 45. Let's be honest, DeAndre Jordan's been terrible for the majority of this season. That is a nice salary, but I wouldn't feel comfortable in using it. I would feel comfortable with using big men against him. So 8,600 for Domantas Sabonis looks great, and 6,000 for Miles Turner also looks really, really interesting, mainly because you're going up against the Nets. Brogdon's at 7,400, and he hasn't quite been at that right spot, but a good GPP option, mainly because of the opponent. While Jeremy Lamb at 54 is averaging under 20 DraftKings points in his last 3. He's definitely been on a downtick, so he's more of a upside GPP option, same as Justin Holiday, although Holiday has been a lot more consistent, averaging 35 points over his last 3 games. The next one we look at is the Cavs. They're taking on the Denver Nuggets here in Denver. No Larry Nance, no Kevin Love. Will they go back to the big man lineup, the Jarrett Allen-Drummond combo? I believe they will. 8,300 for Andre Drummond, I think, is a pretty nice price. 5,800 for Jarrett Allen, I'm convinced, is a very good price, especially if they play those minutes together. Michael Porter's at 57. Gary Harris is out. So there is another opportunity for Porter to start, but man, he has been rough. I love it as a GPP option. While Big Chungus Nikola Jokic is at 11,000. Too many centers already in my lineup. Jokic at 11,000. He's been getting a 60s really, really consistently. I think probably the best big price player on the board. Don't love the 7,000 for Sexton. Don't love 56 for Barton. 6,000 for Darius Garland's all right, but I'm not sure if there is a ton of upside there in him. I think it might be right on the nose. The Nuggets, though, there are favored by 9.5, so there is some real blowout risk in that matchup. Next up, we go to the New Orleans Pelicans, taking on the Chicago Bulls. The Bulls without Markkanen and Wendell Carter Jr. So that is, obviously opening up some big minutes for guys like Patrick Williams, some opportunities for Thad Young, and opportunities for Denzel Valentine as well, who'll likely be in the starting lineup once again. The Pelicans are on a back-to-back, so that's worth looking at. Now, Valentine's at 5,300. He's not the most sexy option, but at 5,300, he had a 33-point game the other day. I think it's worth looking at. I like Levine at 9,000 quite a bit. He's carrying this offense, while Brandon Ingram at 83, also playing at a pretty high level of late. I'm not 100% sold on it, but I do like it. I also like Zion at 8,100. Had some early foul trouble in the game on Tuesday as well. Pat Williams at 55 is just a GPP guy. Wouldn't want to use Kobe White, and I think Alonzo might be priced a bit too high. Same as Thad Young at 66, whose last 2 games he's been under 30 minutes. Now, the production has still been okay, but 66 a high price tag for a guy playing 26 minutes a night. Not to say that he'll definitely play 26 minutes a night here, but there's obviously a risk in that with how Billy Donovan is currently running those rotations. The next game, we take a look at the Oklahoma City Thunder. They are taking on the Los Angeles Lakers again. We saw that matchup just the other day. So that one went to overtime. I don't know whether this one's going to go that far, but that's something to look at there, of course. Anthony Davis is the big question mark. We know that he missed that game on Monday with that Achilles soreness, and they started Markieff Morris in his place. Whether that is going to be a problem here remains to be seen. If Davis plays at 9,500, he's at least worth a GPP guy look, and I loved LeBron. At 10-2, that is a great price for LeBron James. Looks pretty nice. While Montrezl Harrell at 56 is a solid cash player. We don't know if Teo Maledon is going to play for the Thunder. He's had COVID protocol issues. He's at 4,800, so if he plays, he's worth a look. If he is out, we're looking at Hamidou Diallo at 65. Now, that's a lot for Diallo, and I wouldn't want to use it if Maledon actually plays. Taylor Horton-Tuck has been playing at a high level. At 4,300, I don't see the value there. I do see it in Gilgeous-Alexander, though. At 8,600, Shea has been putting up great numbers, giving us 48 a night over the last 3. Nothing's really slowing him down. And I could say the same about Al Horford, although I feel a little bit less confident about Horford continuing on that level of play. But he has been really, really good, putting up some strong numbers over the last little bit of time. I was going to say, where is Horford? He's already in my lineup. I was trying to find him. 6,200 for Horf looks all right to me. Baisley's at 61, and he's averaging 32 over his last 5 games, which is obviously not bad value. I don't feel particularly comfortable with him, nor the 6,200 with Dennis Schroeder, but they can be options. I'm just not 100% sold on them as the guys I'd want anchoring a lineup. The last game of the day, we're looking at the Bucks and the Suns. No Drew Holiday. While the Suns have ruled out Dario Saric and Cameron Payne, but Chris Paul, Jay Crowder, and Abdul Nadir are all questionable. Yanni is at 10,600. He's good for 50. I think we know that most nights. I'm not sure if he's a 60-point type guy here. I think he's worth looking at for sure. While Bryn Forbes at 38 can get you 25, and he will be a starter in place of Drew Holiday, most likely again. Chris Middleton at 7,900, man, he is playing at a very high level. I like that, but I like DiVincenzo more. 5,200, he dropped in 36 points last game without Drew Holiday, so he's going to be tasked with a lot more responsibility. And then we can criticize DeAndre Ayton as much as we want, which we have been. But he's at 7,100 and he's averaging 35 points. And that's right on where he needs to be. And if he just has a couple of extra scoring attempts, blocks a couple of shots, he beats it. I'm okay with using him here. As for Devin Booker at 81, if Chris Paul is out, I do like Booker quite a bit because he's going to get a ton more usage and, more importantly, a ton more assist opportunities. While McCall Bridges at 61, I'm not into it. I think it's all right, but I'm not totally into it. All right, that'll do it for me. Don't forget, subscribe to this channel, hit the notification bell, give it a thumbs up. Find me as well. The link's in the title and in the description. Josh Lloyd Fantasy Basketball. You can find my channel over there. Guys, we are done here. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. See ya.